Hi everyone, so I'm just going to do a video on what's been going on the past week or so with eBay and FBA. So I know I said I wasn't going to do another FBA shipment this week, but one box ended up, UPS have just come now and they've picked that up. So yeah, just a little box went off, but next week will definitely be like, so no UPS coming. So I'll talk about FBA first. So in a few videos ago, I had a couple of returns come through, so I can now sort of, show the process that happened with that. So the first return that came through was a sealed media item. So I sent it to them sealed, and they tried to run it on their computer specifics didn't work, and so it got returned. I had to wait for it to come back into the warehouse to, for them to confirm that it was unsealed. Obviously it would be if they've tried to run it on their computer. And then when it did come back into the warehouse, Amazon have now refunded me the money, and I think it's going back into the inventory as used, because you can't return sealed media items that are no longer sealed. So yes, that did work, that legislation thing, whatever it is, I don't know, does work. So that was that one. I had a Nintendo DS come back. So the buyer just returned it because they bought the wrong item. I'm not sure, but they just said they just wanted return because they sent the wrong item. So that's gone back into my inventory. And then there was a third one, and it was another computer game, and this one was used this time, and the buyer returned it because it was defective. So that one will just get destroyed and just create a removal order for it. I think they said over the phone that it's 20p for that process to be done. And that was only like an £11–12 game, so I'll have to take the hit on it, but it's fine. So that's what happened with the FBA returns. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything more to mention on FBA. I had a really good sales day. On a shipment went live on Wednesday, and it was either the Wednesday or the Thursday, and I just had a great day on FBA. I think I took over £300 worth of sales, so there's a lot of money to come out of that, but yeah, that was great. And that was some RA items. So that's what's going on with eBay. Sorry if the light's not very good. I'm just using my computer webcam, and it's really quite sunny today, so I think it's throwing the light a bit. Anyway, so over to eBay now. So I've been listing this week like crazy. I put myself on a mini buying ban. Essentially, I wasn't really buying any RA deals, and was just I did buy a couple of eBay things to put on, for eBay rather than FBA. But yeah, so I really focused on listing this week, and I found it's really helped having where you pair it with a buddy, because me and Michael Taylor said that we were going to see who was the first to try and get to 1,000 listings. And so I know I said a few videos ago that I was going to be taking it easy and that we might not do that, but I really found myself focusing a lot more on getting my listings done, and actually sort of keeping, just keeping count of the number of what's actually listed, and keeping my unsold items listed constantly, because sometimes I can let them build up in the unsold section for a few days. I've really been keeping on top of that. And messaging Michael and seeing how he's getting on with it as well. So yeah, that system definitely works for me, in just sort of keeping tabs with someone else and seeing how they're getting on with it. So that was good. The other thing, so I put my shop on a 2-day dispatch. What I used to do was dispatch every Monday to Saturday, every day, on the 1-day dispatch. I haven't noticed I actually make any difference to my sales yet. I imagine it might do a few weeks down the line when everything maybe catches up, I'm not sure. But for me at the moment, the 2-day dispatch hasn't really made a big difference to my sales. I had a person from Australia wanting to buy one of my items. She said that the global shipping price was really expensive and was wondering if if I could turn off the global shipping and do my own international postage. I said no, because I wouldn't post abroad if it wasn't for the global shipping program. That's just it can be very time consuming in working out how much it's actually going to cost to post and get it tracked and signed for. And I knew that this item would sell anyway. It's not something that I'm dying to get rid of. So but what I did do to try and bring the postage cost down, which did actually work, is because I usually list on my mobile app, I don't ever put in the weights and dimensions of the item. I did do it on this one after she was messaging me to see if it would bring the postage down for her, and that did work. It did bring it down by a couple of pounds, but it was still too expensive for her to buy. So yeah, if you have got GSP buyers and they're wanting to buy, it might just be worth putting in the dimensions and see if that does bring the cost down for them if they are messaging you to try and reduce the postage cost. So that's that one. Oh yeah, so I got a neutral feedback removed from my account. This was on my second account, so I wasn't actually too fussed about it because I'm not using this one as a shop anymore. But they bought an item, and in the seller notes I had put this item has scuffs on it, and I showed the scuffs in like photo 5 of the 12 photos that were on there. So the buyer didn't get in touch and just left neutral feedback saying, I didn't expect this item to have scuffs. It's just so frustrating. Anyway, so I messaged the buyer. I said, oh, I'm sorry that you're not happy with your item. Can you confirm that it was the scuffs shown in photo 5 and in the seller notes? She didn't write back for a few days. I thought I wouldn't hear from her again, and then she wrote back on Friday night saying, hiya, yeah, my little girl loves this item and I don't want to return it. It just didn't have the scuffs that you mentioned. You didn't mention any of the scuffs, which it was mentioned. But she was okay, So essentially I wanted her to admit that it was the scuffs that I had listed in the item description, which she then admitted in the message. So I asked her then to change her neutral feedback, and as soon as I asked her to do that, she never got back in touch. So I just wanted her to admit it in the messaging system so that I could then call up eBay. I told eBay, look, the buyers admitted that this was listed in the description, and they removed it instantly. So yeah, I managed to get that one removed. So now I'm going to just do a little bit of a rant, and it's just about pissing buyers off on eBay, and I just don't know why you would do this. So I bought a little table and some toys. It was all one listing off of eBay for Olive. I didn't really need the toys, but the table that was in this listing looked perfect for me to be able to prop her up in her beanbag, and for her to be able to play on the table type thing. So yeah, the item arrived, and it just smelled a bit smoky. So anyone who has babies, or you'll constantly be told by midwives, nurses, your health visitors, please try and avoid getting smoke around the babies, for health reasons. And I think really what they're talking about is clothes, and getting the smoke in clothes and that type of material. But I'm not a smoker myself, so smoking, the smell, if you're not a smoker, is really, significant. So obviously I don't want to introduce smoky toys to Olive, and so I opened this return request with the buyer for item not as described. I just wanted to return the item to her, so I messaged her, said, sorry, I don't like to open return requests. This is a smoky item, you know, it smells of cigarettes. I'd just like to get a refund. I'll return this to you and get a refund. The buyer writes back saying, okay, that's no problem. Return the item back to me. So I never got a postage label through. So a couple of days later, I said, I'm still waiting for the return label for this. And this seller is selling things that we all sort of flock towards. So, you know, like vintage Polly Pocket, there's Lego, there's WWE figures in there. So before I opened the return request, I blocked this buyer, just in case things like this happen. I said, I'm still waiting for the return label for this in order to ship it back to you. And then she says, it clearly states, he or she, it clearly states within my listings that the buyer pays return postage. Okay, if you're a business seller, you pay the return postage unless it's just a change of mind and the buyer buys a t-shirt and says, I actually don't like this on me, can I return it? So you pay the return postage, and this is like a £7 return, £7 postage label. So I messaged and I said, no, you pay the return label on this. If she doesn't do that, it's the case is then going to escalate to eBay, which is what she or he wants to avoid. Anyway, so after I messaged that, I just got a full refund through and no return label. So these items have just been sitting out in the porch because I'm just waiting for her, you know, I'll post these back to you. Okay, so I wake up this morning and then I get this message off eBay from the seller. And I thought, oh, strange why she's messaging. I sort of assumed that this had been dealt with. Anyway, so this is the message sent through. Hello, I hope you enjoy the free toys. I don't believe the toys smell, as I even asked my family to smell them. Right, so I'm not in the habit of sending items out and asking family members to smell them. And they said they were fine. I believed you wanted them for free, like many other people on eBay. Don't worry, I'm not tight, so you can have them. Kind regards. Just what the I don't know what you're doing as a seller. At this point, I have not left this person feedback, right? What is wrong with you? Like, why are you doing this as a seller? Wow. So essentially, so I have not left her feedback at this point. If I was that seller and I decided not to get the items returned to me because the postage was going to cost too much and it's just not profitable for me to be returning this item, I would just leave it at that. Like, just leave it. So yeah. So I messaged her back straight away, furious. I got up and I sent a photo of the toys that are in the porch, saying, here are your toys sitting in the box waiting for you to print off the return label to me. You know, I said, this is what you have to do as a business seller is print off the return label. I was so annoyed and I just wrote on there just saying, enjoy your negative feedback. I was in no way ever going to I wasn't going to give this woman any feedback. I was just going to leave it because I know how annoying it is to get returns. I know how annoying it is to maybe be reselling smoky items that you're not quite sure of. And I know how annoying it is, you know, to be wondering, oh, am I going to get a negative feedback or not? So I just don't know why you would try and piss the buyer off even more when it's just mind-boggling. Like, just wow. So yeah, that was really special. So that's my little rant of the day, really. So that's that. Anyway, so I think I'll leave it at that now. And yeah, I'll go calm down, go walk the dog, and I'll speak to you later. Okay, thanks. Bye.